Hey guys, well, happy Thanksgiving. It is the grateful week. If you're not reaching out to at least 50 people and telling them how grateful you are to have them in your life and to your business, you're missing out. Like one of the best things you can do is to send a personal video to these amazing people in your life and your business. Don't forget to do that. I promise it's going to make a great a big, huge impact with inside your business. Hey, this week we're pretty excited to bring Coaching with Chris. Please like, share, comment. We'd love that, and be paying attention to the chat deal. I'll have the girls being able to cue me in on some questions. So make sure you ask some questions because I'm going to bring in three of my account executives that are killing it in the industry. And we're going to dive in. It seems like I was reading a lot of posts lately, on all of these different threads, and they're talking about, I need a good AE and I need this and I need that. What makes a good AE? And I'm like, this sounds like the perfect podcast for the broker community. So I'm going to bring in Tiffanie, Eric, and Shelby. Guys, are you here?
We're here.
We are.
I mean, did you wake up excited or nervous to do this today? Be honest. Tiffanie?
Definitely a little nervous. I'm not going to lie.
Well, I mean, we invite guests to be out here all the time. They probably get a little bit nervous, and now you know what they feel like. So maybe this is a good thing.
I'm in the hot seat.
You're in the hot seat, definitely. How about you, Eric?
I woke up excited. The nerves might be like coming in, but no, this is a great opportunity to share what we do.
I mean, you look amazing. You're all dressed up. You got perfect. You're like rehearsing questions. I mean, like, this is pretty cool that you took this serious.
I have to, just like everything. It's work. It's mortgage.
Just like it. And how about you, Shelby?
I'm excited. I think that it's super fun to get 3 AEs at Windsor, and we all do stuff a little different. So I think it'll be really fun to learn from another two.
Well, let's start with background. One of the things about being a great account executive, there's not a perfect recipe of the perfect background. I have some ideas about that, but you guys all three have a little bit different backgrounds. Eric, let's start with you. Like, how did you become an account executive?
Yeah. So mortgage definitely found me. I went to college with one of our VPs, helped him through econ class, and he tried to get me to come to mortgage.
So he wouldn't have passed without you. Is that what you're trying to say?
I'm not saying that on air, but we
Okay.
definitely help each other. Yes, and his family kind of like owns the bank, and he tried to convince me to come to mortgage for probably 5 or 7 years after college.
Okay.
He finally convinced me. I joined during the heart of COVID. He convinced me to come over. I started 12-hour days on the disclosure desk. I remember that vividly. Actually, I started in July. My birthday was in August that year. I came in on Saturday and worked 10 hours. So
Wow.
I was baptized by fire in mortgage. From there, I became an account manager. Just my 5th year. I've been account executive for 2 years now and loving it.
That's pretty cool. Tiffanie?
So I actually worked as a processor in our small family business and was recruited by an AE that I loved. And I just never looked back. I love the wholesale side of it. I love working with the brokers. And that was back in March of 2000. So you guys can do the math.
And how about you, Shelby?
I came into mortgage as a temporary tide me over job as a director of first impressions or front desk gal and never left.
Well, yeah, and then you rolled through several different positions. What do you think was the one position that you three, I'll start with you, Tiff. What was the one position that set you up the most to be an account executive?
Oh gosh. I mean, honestly, I feel like I have learned and grown in every position I've been in. I've always taken something away. I've had, the privilege of working for some really great managers and but the growth that I've had here is unparalleled with anything that I've done so far in my career.
Oh, awesome. Eric, what was that one position for you?
I would say the disclosure desk. So Windsor has a full service team, and part of their roles is they can pre-qual for community banks around the U.S. And I didn't know mortgage until I got in here about 5 years ago, and it set a really good foundation, being able to learn the different products, different ways to structure things, and then from there, I think I kind of built some more expertise.
Shelb?
I think that being a loan partner one really taught me what the loan officers go through and working with realtors and working with the borrowers. I feel like that's super important to know as an AE.
Yeah, because you're dealing with those loan officers right now, and then you three feel the pressure that they feel. And that's what I love about you three is that, well, and our whole group, but is that we feel the pressure and we understand their day to days, so that to be able to offset their day to days, a good account executive should be able to be that, in a sense, that inner part of the team. I feel like we're an inner part of a loan officer team. And it was account executive that changed my life when I was a broker. Her name was Jackie. And I don't think Troy would ever, we would never even forget her name ever, 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 is because of the impact that she had on us. I've got some questions we definitely want to talk about and maybe dive into, but you know, what do you see as, on the loan officer side perspective? What do you guys see as, how could a loan officer set up the loan for the biggest success? Uh, Whether you're working with Windsor or another company, I don't think it matters. Like, what's one thing or one tweak that they should consider in 2026?
I think that just having the application right and the job history, I feel like that can really get an underwriter to go down a different path. And if that's correct, then it will just eliminate some questions and hopefully some frustration even in the underwriting side with any lender.
Right, right. That's a good point. So great app, and having the job history correct so it can be underwritten correctly. And it probably with that eliminates conditions.
Yeah,
But you
probably
know what?
quite a bit.
That sounds so simple.
Well,
Yeah, and to add to that, there's always like 99% of conditions are pretty straightforward. There's always one that could pop up. If a loan officer has questions during that pre-qual phase, I know they're given that pre-qual out in good faith, but there's income or an employment scenario that you don't know about. Feel free to reach out to us as the AE. We have an underwriting help desk as well to help clarify that before. So when the pre-qual goes out, it's strong, and that could eliminate any hiccups during the loan process.
Yeah. How about you, Tiffany?
I mean, first of all, I agree with Shelby. It always starts with the application. But if the borrower has any type of wonky income, send us a VOE. It just gives us the full breakdown of the income and gives the underwriter the full picture of what's going on.
love
Yeah.
that.
Oh, I love that. Just get us the VOE and let us go with it. I would rather have everything than a part, and then have to condition it to the end of the world to be able to find the one part that probably would solve it all, which sometimes is just a VOE. What what do you see as I mean, all three of you have been working on 2026. We've been talking about goals for 2026 and sharing account executive goals versus LO goals. I think they're similar, and they have a lot of common pieces to it. But Eric, what's a goal for 2026 for you, and also why?
Yep. I would say two goals are at the top of my mind. One, to build my team, strengthen them, make sure they have the resources, and I'm a good leader to them. Because a good team sets everyone else up for success. And then two, like you've kind of been like working with us in the past few weeks, is I'm good at staying busy, but I might not be the most productive.
Mm,
So I have to get a calendar, stick to it, hold myself accountable.
I like that. I like that. Tiffany?
So, I mean, as you know, we're working on our top 100, trying to focus and pour some extra love on our VIP clients that are consistent with us. So, trying to drill down my top 100, and then definitely the calendar. My calendar now is, you know, it's every day. It's scheduled by the half hour, and I'm doing a pretty good job of sticking to it. There are some things I miss here and there,
Yeah.
but having that calendar filled and then following it throughout the day is my biggest task.
Well, I like that. I like that. And Shelb?
I think that we always pick a word for the year. And I think that just with having my little guy who's almost 6 months, I have to figure out how to get right back into the consistency and not stay lingering for too long. So I think coming up with a word and sticking with that will be important.
Well, what's the word going to be?
I got a couple contenders, and I think I'm going to go with forward because I always need to be moving forward and not ever get stagnant on one thing.
Love it.
Yeah, I like that too. Forward in relationship, forward in process, forward in experience. I think you could use forward in a lot of things. You know, I've been toying with the word elite and working on an elite, and I'm excited, you know, as the next few weeks go to be able to really roll that out and share more what I'm thinking about. Tiffany, have you thought of a word? I mean, I think that's a good point. Have you thought of a word for 2026 for you?
My word is discomfort.
Ah, okay.
Love that word, Tiff.
I love that. What made you think of that word?
Because that's where growth happens.
Ah, I like that. Eric?
I'm going to go with consistency. Don't get complacent. Keep growing. You just had us read a book by, actually right here, Perseverance Principles
Oh, I
by
love this
JJ.
book. Yeah.
Yes. Yep. And consistency. That's my word.
You know what? That's a great point. If I still have some extra books that I want to give away from JJ, JJ's a friend, so throw it into comments and I'll send you that book. I do have some to give away that I want to continue to do. JJ is that book has some cool things to it, and his story and where he grew. Of course, I got to see like the middle part, and up to today. It's pretty cool to see. My favorite interaction with JJ, my very first time was he bought me a tea at Starbucks. I was standing in line. He goes, like, "What are you getting?" I go, "I'm getting a tea." He goes, "I gotcha," and he bought it for him. I'm like, why would this guy buy my tea? And that was my first start of a relationship with JJ. So cool. Cool cat for sure, and amazing story. So make sure you guys read that book. Let's dive into some questions. I got 4 questions, and I don't know who to start, but I'm going to start with Shelby on this one. What what makes an AE different from other AEs?
Well, I assume you're asking what makes Windsor AEs different. And at least I think we're all different because we all care. And we're the ingredient that makes Windsor special. Like, Windsor isn't always the best priced. You know, underwriting every now and again, we got to work through things. But I think that every single AE that works at Windsor cares and is going to pick up the phone and truly be an extension of your guys' team, not just some AE that's going to deal with your problems. So I think that makes all of us different.
You know, I think you guys are right. I would love to say that Windsor's special, but really, truly, you three are our AEs are special. It's what makes the difference. And when a company realizes that their employees are the secret or special ingredient, uh, I think every company wants to say, no, we're the special one, but we're not. It's the employees that make it special. So I think that's a great point. Well, you know, Eric, girls go first. So Tiffany, what makes an AE different? Because I think there's, you know, even diving into there's a lot of AEs in our industry, and I think there's a big, huge, wide range between AEs, and it's probably true. We could say that with LOs as well. But what makes an AE different?
I think the relationships we have with our inside team helps us to solve problems faster. Like, there's nobody I can't pick up the phone and call and they answer. And it just helps us provide speedy resolution to any issue. And I think what makes us different is, you know, sometimes things do go sideways on a deal and we're not going to hide from you. You can always find us. I'm probably more likely to answer the phone if I think somebody's mad at me than if I think they're just saying hi, because I want to be able to provide that fast resolution.
You know what? I hate it when an LO or an AE goes and hides in the closet and they think that hiding in the closet is going to solve the problem. And then I'll come out when it's all, is it okay? Is it okay out there? Is everything safe? And like, look, I love it that you guys run at the problem, then run away from the problem. So I think that's a great point. Eric?
Yeah, I mean, you alluded to it earlier, or like in the opening, on how like I'm an employee of Windsor. You write my checks. I have a key fob that gets me in the building. But to be a good AE, you're also an employee essentially of your account. You're their advocate within the building. So to be a great AE, you have to have a deep understanding of the lending process and guidelines. But it's important to have that perspective and constantly hold two different perspectives in your mind to make sure we get a fast resolution. Like, for example, there's times where I have to deliver inconvenient news to a broker. If I can't find a restructure, you have to word that in a way for not only the broker to understand, but for the LO to give it to their borrower and agent. And on the flip side, there's times where just earlier this week, I had an underwriter that was just focused on an incorrect narrative for a borrower. Well, I have to walk over to him, run to him, as you mentioned, and kind of reframe it just to make sure that like we can close that file. So I think what separates a good AE from an excellent AE is being able to constantly go between those different narratives and make sure that we can close as mutually beneficial as we can.
I love that. I love that. An AE, I think what's one of the things that when Windsor was developed, I said, hey, look, we can be a wholesale company, but then also, how are we a wholesale company that helps the LO do more loans? And I don't get to talk to as many LOs as you guys do on a day-to-day basis. And so maybe the question is that how can an AE help an LO do more production? Tiffany?
We have access to a lot of tools here at Windsor through, the coaches that you invite on this podcast, to the meetings that we have. And, my brokers invite me to meetings, to their sales meetings all the time. And I always, something I learned from you, I never show up to a meeting without a notebook and a pen. And I try to, make a note of all the takeaways and then take that out and share it. And that's something that I feel like, it helps me when I'm making calls or when I'm having meetings or whatever, to be able to share a few tips of how maybe they can, implement into their business.
Yeah, I like that. I like that. Shelby?
Yeah, I love what Tiffany said. I think that we have a lot of access to a lot of great LOs as well, that we have. So sharing what's working for them always seems to be a great takeaway for our brokers. Like if we're on the phone and they think they're struggling with XYZ, maybe we've already dealt with that and we're able to share some ideas that can help get them out of that rut.
Eric?
Exactly. So agree with those two as well. But I mean, as an AE, we would rather have the LO out prospecting or bringing loans in and not stuck in files. So an AE can definitely help an LO with more production by being in the file. Any AE can send out email saying your loan got approved in X many days, or a general email blast. But being able to reconfigure that file in the middle of the underwriting process when new information comes up is critical. And or having that product knowledge, to where I just had one this morning. LO called in, hey, I want to do this FHA, but there's 30-day lates. I'm like, well, we could flip conventional. They don't have like 30-day late guidelines. We got to prove eligible findings. So being able to pick up the phone, reconfigure a file so the LO can get back out there and sell is a big benefit.
Yeah, and then what I love about you guys and giving yourselves enough of the credit is that um, you work just as much on learning things that will help an LO do more, and also have to learn what you could do to get more production as an AE. What would be a cool tip or trick that you would want to give an LO that they should implement in 2026, Eric?
It's a great question. Honestly, this might be cliche, but join coaching with Chris every Tuesday. The people that you have on always bring different perspectives. We all kind of get locked in our lane, so to speak. Wade, Betsy had him on a month ago. I have like 2 pages of notes from him, and that I can then relay to my loan officer. So just seeing different perspectives in the industry. And again, I'll say this podcast is where like you can get that is a tip I'd hand out.
That's good. Tiffany?
Yeah, definitely coaching. We work with a lot of the top loan officers all across the country, and one thing they have in common is they're involved in coaching groups, and those guys have continued to grow even in a tough market, just by coaching and in collaboration. Like there's more collaboration in the mortgage industry than I've ever seen in my career, and asking for help.
Yeah. You know what's sad is there's not a lot of coaching for AEs.
There
And
isn't.
and so that's one of the my favorite things to do is to be able to coach and be able to coach you guys and that's why we're teaching the perfect AE model. But Shelby, what about you? What would be a tip that you could add to an LO that they should implement in 2026? We covered coaching, we covered podcasts and learning and education. What would be the next one?
So, and selfishly, this is something that I'm working on. So I think that if a loan officer has a great VIP list that will feed them the leads and they like dealing with those people, I think that having 40 VIPs is a great thing to set up for the new year if you don't have one.
Yeah, yeah. What's the missing ingredient you see in your competition of other AEs in the market? It's a tough question. I get it. And by the way, I didn't give it to you. Shelby, how would you answer that?
I think that a missing ingredient is genuinely helping the loan officer grow and giving them all the resources before we're asking for the business. I just think that if we can help loan officers get better, we get better, and in turn, we can get more business. And just having that knowledge as an AE is super crucial.
Eric?
I'll have a word for it: accountability. You mentioned that sometimes you run and hide when things get tough. One of the things I like working here at Windsor is we're held accountable. It's easy to show up when times are great, but to show up when times are tough, I think, is what makes it again a great AE versus a good AE.
I think that's great. Tiffany?
I think some of them view this role as a job and not a career. I've always tried to approach my account list as, this is my business. I am self-employed and I will work it, and I'm always available. And I don't think that all of them do that.
Yeah.
Love that.
I love it that you guys want to learn. Like you want to know as much or more as any AE, and you want to make sure that you can see things further down the road. Like, oh wait, if you structure it this way, we're going to have problems, but if you go this way, we can do it. Like you guys see things, further down the road, and I feel like that's what makes a difference to an LO is that wait, I know Tiffany's got me. I know she's going to see things that maybe I couldn't see. I know that you guys are like part underwriter, part account manager, part LO, part AE. You guys wear multiple hats. And I think that's also a huge difference. Uh, what's a value that you give your clients each and every day that they possibly wouldn't see?
I'll go first on that one. I'll say personally, radical availability and knowing how to get things done. It's amazing how many times, Chris, I actually like answer the phone and like the person who called me is caught off guard, say, "Oh, you actually picked up," or "Sorry for the late text, but dot dot dot." So just being available. Loan officers, they don't have hours. Agents don't have hours, so being available when they need it, and then getting actually getting things done. So I've been fortunate to have back-to-back years with 500 million plus in production, and so with that comes a lot of scenarios and a lot of unique loans. I've seen a lot, But then this is also mortgage. Things are always changing. There's always something new, a unique scenario. So Tiffany mentioned it earlier. Um, she can call anyone and pick up the phone, but I'm in the office. I can walk 50 feet to an underwriter. I can walk 20 feet to a manager. Getting things done quick is gold in a industry that kind of forces the cliche time is money.
Yeah, Shelby?
Yeah, I think that what's not seen is the extent we go through with our teams to go over the pipeline and make sure that our clients are being taken care of, and seeing things further down the road, like you said. Hey, this file isn't moving as quick, or what's the conditions on this? Just the work that we do with our teams and with the underwriting team to make sure our clients are taken care of.
Big topic for us, or something that we've worked on this last 30 days, is calendar. You guys mentioned it in the very beginning. What would be one or two things on your calendar or an LO calendar that is a must be for 26 to be able to implement, Tiffany?
Power hour.
Ooh, tell me about Power Hour. And I think your story of Power Hour and how you took it in the very beginning is is real, and I think it's something we all should hear again, because we would all go through that, and maybe you guys listening, you would go through that. Tell us about that little story.
All right, so Power Hour here at Windsor. First of all, if you don't know it, Chris runs a tight ship, and if you don't hit your numbers for the week, you have mandatory Power Hour. So I had a week where I think I was on vacation for a couple of days, and I don't know, it was a short week, a holiday, so I didn't hit my numbers that one week in a long time. And so I got the calendar invite for Power Hour, and I was not happy. And then I noticed when I opened my calendar, it wasn't just 1 hour. It was every day that week. I had to be on Power Hour. And I was then not, I had to go through the emotions all over again, right?
You threw your
Um,
sucker in the mud.
oh, I was mad. But I embraced it. I did it. I hopped on. And what I realized is it was really like a team effort. Like, I'm remote. So I'm here like on camera, on Zoom, calling people, and the team's listening. They're providing feedback and everything. But what I also realized is my numbers like went up when I started doing it that week. Like I had a record week. And so then I just started joining in Power Hour even when I didn't have to. And it made a pretty big impact on my year.
And I think you made a big impact for the others that were in Power Hour. Because I heard a lot of things of, man, I listened to Tiffany, or I heard Tiffany. Like, having Power Hour by yourself is amazing and very difficult to make the choice to do it. But also, number two is doing it with others and letting us feed off of each other and that energy, and then learning from each other. Guys, if you're not doing that as a group, you're missing it. Even do it with your team, which we're not seeing, or with a partner, um, a realtor, a VIP, an insurance, and it doesn't matter the industry. Just doing it. I think my dad always said, "I don't care if you call your grandma, but you start calling, you'll start getting business." And I'm like, "Nah," and he goes, "Prove me wrong." And and I couldn't prove him wrong. I had to only say you were right. Eric, how about you? Your
Stay
calendar.
staying top of mind. I like that. I'm gonna flip it then, because one thing I've identified for myself that I have to get better on, so I'd like recommend putting on the calendar, is post closing consultations. Once the file closes, it's really easy just to hop on the next one and make sure that closes. And you might lose sight of that borrower or LO in an AE's case. So following up the week after, hey, how's the process? How can I help you? Is there anything else you're working on? That conversation can lead to more business. And so I'll put post closing consultations.
I like that. Shub?
I think a non-negotiable for loan officers and AEs is having a really good meeting with your team. That way it sets the tone for the day. They get the tone set for the day, and you know what big frogs you have to eat first.
That's true. And this, have an agenda. Like, having an agenda for a team meeting. And if you want a team meeting agenda, like an agenda working with your processor, agenda working with your LOA, these guys can give it to you. It's a great way to be able to start. It's a framework, and then you can tweak out the framework of having to do it. But having an agenda is super important. Plus, the team knows what you cover. The second thing tied to that, Shelby, that I love is that having your team run parts of the meeting, not having all the time us running the meeting. Let the
Yeah.
team run the meeting because they take responsibility. My last question is probably a question we kind of covered it, but you know, why Windsor? Why should an LO give us a file over somebody else? And I feel like this is a commercial. Okay, so I feel weird because I've really kept commercialization out of coaching with Chris about Windsor planes, but um, I want to like set the tone here for a second when I'm asking these three this question because they're going to give you a statement. And when you're listening to this, you're like, Chris, how does this help me be an LO? And I'm going to tell you why. Because I want you to be able to ask the question, why you? Because I just had my loan officers went through them all, give me a 3-minute presentation, why them? And I learned something. Each and every one of them had a great uh, talk or bullet points, but we got to practice it, and we don't. And also, they tried to make one statement fit everything, like one statement fit realtors and one statement fit clients, and it isn't. It's two separate. So, Tiffany, you drew the straw to go first. Why
Great.
Windsor?
It's not just me, it's my team. And I will tell you, one of the coolest tools that we use is we have an AE group chat. You guys are gonna laugh. It is gold. But what happens is 24/7, like somebody's always on it. I can be out to dinner with my family and somebody can send me a guideline question. I can pop it into the AE group chat. Eric's probably going to respond with the answer that he's already looked up and vetted and sent it back to me. And so literally within just a few minutes, there's an answer. So for me, why Windsor is my team, this team that we have here. We care. And
Hmm.
we want to make sure those loans close on time. And if for some reason a deal does go sideways and doesn't close on time, we lose sleep over it too, just like you do.
I love that. I love that. Uh, Eric?
Yep. Uh, so as Tiffany mentioned before and earlier, and Shelby, it's really the teams. I'm gonna try to frame this answer in a way that makes more sense to the broader audience, Chris. Um,
Okay.
so it's no secret that the last few years mortgage has been a bit slower historically speaking. Rates have been stubborn, housing prices continue to appreciate, lending standards have not been loosening. If they are, it's slower than needed. So I'm gonna throw like a quick stat. Did you know that mortgage debt as a share of housing value is at a 65-year low at 27%?
Wow.
So to put it simply, there's less mortgages out there right now. So to have that team like Windsor, who's forward-looking, we're committed to helping each other, not just our team, as Tiffany mentioned, and that it is a gold chat. By the way, it's great. That collaboration with you and that forward thinking um, is beneficial for countless reasons. So that's why I would say why Windsor.
That's cool. That's a cool stat, by the way. I didn't know that mortgage debt's at an all-time low. I knew that equity was at an all-time high, but I didn't know that mortgage debt was an all-time low. But it makes sense. Shelby?
I think that there's a lot of lenders that can get you closed on time and do all the things. But I think what makes us special is when there is a problem, we're always going to run into it like a buffalo. You're never going to have to struggle to get a hold of any of us. And not even just our team, but our closers, our underwriters, everyone's willing to help somebody out. Pick up the phone at 8 p.m., send a CV out at 9 o'clock. That's how we're all just raised in this industry working at Windsor. So that's why I think why Windsor.
Yeah, I love it that you know each one of you has a different point, but they're all tied to one thing is that we just care more. And and you know if you're under the gun and we need something, I had a big owner of a big broker owner shop here call me at 9 and go, I gotta have the CD out tonight for the deadline piece, and the closer went in at 10 and did it. And I'm like, who would do that? Windsor would. Or let's look at another way, or what could we do on this particular issue? And just the other day, a broker was upset and said to you, Shelby, conflict creates resolution, and I actually think conflict grows relationship. And how Windsor handles conflict of, I get you're upset, now let's figure it out. I just love about how you guys do it and how you go over it. Does it bother you? Yeah. Do you lose sleep? Yeah. Do you worry about your clients more than they ever know? Absolutely. And because you worry so much and carry that with you, it makes you different than a lot of the other AEs in the industry. Now, I can't see the questions, so I have no idea if there's questions on the site. Maybe you guys have. But is there any questions, team, that we need to address? Because since I can't see them, do you guys see the comments or anything on the side?
I don't see any unless okay.
Oh, I
We
got
just
one.
got one.
So, what is the recent win you've had with a broker that others could learn from? Has anybody got a story?
I mean, I had one. I was at an event Friday evening, and somebody called me needing an answer, and looking for a clear to close, really. Um, but it was 8:30 at night. I was able to get the underwriter on Teams and provide the answer. So, just it was a win because I stopped what I was doing while at an event and helped her get the answer she wanted, and that loan's closing today.
That's awesome. That's a cool one. Shelby, did you have one?
Yeah, I think that like we were talking about that application, we had a file that was going a little bit sideways, and it was one tweak to the job history, and we're almost clear to close. So I think that just being able to take a step back and look at the app and having an underwriter that's willing to do that is awesome.
And what I liked about that file is you guys actually caught it, not the broker. You caught how to fix the app and to change the whole end result of the whole file. I thought that was pretty cool. Eric, you got to have a cool story. Give us some.
Okay. Yeah. So you and I were just at a client's for their Barrett United event, and they had like a trade show, I'll call it, because that's what it was a trade show. And there was a file that had to get CTC and docs out that day. Well, I was kind of limited because I was at the booth. Well, I left the booth, you and let Kevin stayed back. I got my account manager on the phone here in the office, had him walk over to the underwriter, and I sat with the loan officer, and we restructured it within 7 minutes, um, quite drastically actually, to get that CTC out. So that was a pretty good win, I thought.
That's pretty cool. I love it also that, don't you love it that our underwriters are open-minded and they look to figure out a way to yes than to say no? And yeah, we got to do it right. We got to do it within the guidelines. We got to make sure the agency can insure the file. But in the end of the day, we're willing to do anything we can to figure out a way to make those bullet points happen. And our underwriters make us look good also. And that is a Windsor benefit. If you're going to leave, can you believe it? Almost 40 minutes went by. But if you're going to leave everybody at the end of this podcast to think about 2026 and planning this out, what would it be, Tiffanie?
I think start planning now. Don't wait until January.
Yeah. Yeah. Start now. We have a system, guys, that can help you start to plan, and that all of these guys or all of our AEs have it, and they would love to share it with you. So reach out, send them a text or DM onto this podcast, and we'll make sure we get it. But we have a system that'll help you create a plan for 2026, and we love helping teams and other loan officers plan for 26. So please reach out. Eric, what do you got?
I would say believe in yourself. Have a plan, but then once you have it, don't overthink it. Just do the action. Like to kind of piggyback off what Tiffany said, don't be that New Year's resolution person. Don't wait till January 1st because I gotta have a clean start, and then kind of like drift off. Believe in yourself. You have it. If you don't, we're here at like as a resource.
Love that. Chubb?
I think that just having a good calendar is something that's super beneficial and will keep you on track for the whole year. So if you don't have a set calendar and want some ideas on how to create one, we can send you a few examples too.
Yeah. Having someone else's calendar or being able to see some examples, I think is the greatest thing and the start of creating your own. So if you want some examples, reach out to these guys. We'll be able to help you. Well, happy Thanksgiving to all three of you. I hope you enjoy your holiday and be able to celebrate, but also being grateful. And being grateful for all the many blessings. You guys got tons of things to be grateful for. And I'm just grateful for you guys. So thanks for doing this podcast today.
You
Thank
too.
you.
Thank you.
See you later.